All right. Now we are here on a Friday. It is Friday. Everybody, hope you guys had a great great week. Hope you guys are looking forward to an amazing weekend. Hope you guys have some pretty good plans, some pretty awesome plans. But today we're going to talk about some awesome professional wrestling. Um, you know, just first and foremost, we got some bad blood happening. We're excited to talk about that. Talk about that in our third segment. First segment, we're going to talk about some SmackDown. Excuse me. We're going to preview some SmackDown, and then second segment, we're going to talk about some my Thursday night wrestling review. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor, TNA as well. Well, TNA, they didn't really have a show, thanks, because of everything that's going down with the hurricane. They kind of mostly had like the best of Slammiversary, so we're going to talk about that. And the third segment, like I said, we're going to talk about Bad Blood. Fourth segment is Shane McMahon going to be all elite by the end of October. I think it's possible. We'll get more into that later. And in our fifth and final segment, something we do every Friday, I give you guys my wrestling news, my Friday wrestling news roundup. Kind of give you guys something to kind of ponder over, over the weekend. So yeah, let's dig on into that. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns, whether you've got a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling. Just let me know in the chat. If you have something that you've been dying to share, something you've been trying to get off your chest. Obviously, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears. This show is all about keeping the conversation going, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concerns gets noticed, why not use that super chat? It's the $ below the chat box. Just hit the $ below, and your message is guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. Your super chats obviously, helps us keep the lights on, in terms of bringing even more awesome sports content you guys love so much. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. But once again, if the super chat is not your thing, you can always hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like a subscribe button to the show. Follow the show and follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. But of course, criticism, feedback is a gift. Obviously, any kind of interaction or engagement from the fans is something that we kind of pride ourselves on. We love to know that you guys are listening first and foremost, and second of all, we love the fact that you guys feel like you can engage in the content. Feel like you guys could, you feel comfortable enough to kind of hit up that chat box, tell us how you're feeling without feeling shy, without kind of getting that oh my god, this. There's not really much of a power dynamic. I am, a podcast on this sports network doesn't necessarily mean that I'm like Mr. Wrestling know-it-all. If you say something, I'll be like, that's so stupid. I'm just kidding. No, there's nothing like that. So 1,010% feel comfortable. This show is all about, I like to kind of compare this show to, like when you go to a bar. Go to a bar, you sit next to somebody, you kind of having a couple of drinks, and then you want to start up a conversation, kind of get something flowing a little bit. And then if you're a mad wrestling fan, and then you talk to another guy who's so into wrestling, it's just cool. You kind of have this mutual beneficiary relationship between you guys where you guys can benefit from talking about professional wrestling, but at the same time, sharing laughs, sharing experiences. Nothing like talking about the Attitude Era days. Nothing like talking about the Golden Era. Remember those times when Hulk Hogan was killing it? Also the Ruthless Aggression Era, John Cena. You're a fan or you're not a fan. Randy Orton, Batista, all that kind of stuff. It's just it makes for good conversation. So 1,010% would love to see what you guys, or love to hear what you guys have to say in terms of podcasts. So make sure you hit up the tips and donations, or hit up that super chat. All right, so guys, I apologize because it feels like my voice is going out, so bear with me here. We're gonna talk about WWE Smackdown. We have a good Smackdown lined up for you guys today. Should be pretty cool. Obviously, this is kind of like the go home show for WWE Bad Blood. Tomorrow we have the pay-per-view. We are live from the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, as Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu start to prepare for the epic showdown with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for a tag team match. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be, this pay-per-view, obviously, and Crown Jewel. WWE wants to start setting things up for kind of for Survivor Series, which makes sense. But I just, I feel like Bad Blood has to be good. It has to be good. It has to be amazing. So far, what we have on we have a 5-match layout, which once again, under the Triple H Paul era, I know quality over quantity is ideal, but I don't know. I feel like at least it should be like 7 matches or 8 or 6. AEW, they do such a good job with PLEs. Every title on the line, 8 matchups, number one contenders matchups on there as well. So, as of right now, I feel like WWE, in terms of, selling a PLE, thanks to their growing popularity, they don't really have to take in consideration of what the fans really like. You know what I mean? Like, WWE has been such a huge wrestling conglomeration throughout the decades. Not really have any competition outside of WCW in the early 2000s, late 1990s. Now WWE, they can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? And they know wrestling fans are going to watch. It's like, okay, where else are you going to go? But I would like to see them have more matches on their pay-per-views. I got to be honest. I do. Other than that, it's just a glorified showing. You have AEW Dynamite doing the 5-year anniversary, having title matches, and it's kind of like that. Or like you have NXT, Bash at the Beach, which happened on a Tuesday, not really on Peacock. And for some strange reason, well, not some strange reason, obviously we know exactly what's going down, because as wrestling fans, as a WWE fan, I missed, back in the old days, of course, I grew up during the Attitude Era, during the Ruthless Aggression Era, where there was like 8 matches. And I thought it was kind of cool, kind of like their business, their partnership, their counterpart, the UFC. Um, UFC Fight Night on Saturday nights gets so much attention. They get sell out for pay-per-views. Everybody has watch parties because all the titles are on the line. History is going to be made. Upsets are going to happen, and it's going to be good action. So, once again, maybe like the Gunther Sami Zayn match you could have on there. Maybe this ladder match on SmackDown right now, you could have had it on Bad Blood, but I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting decision that Triple H Paul doesn't want to do that. All right, speaking of the ladder match, we had the Bloodline defending their WWE Tag Team Championships against DIY and the Street Profits in a triple threat ladder match. My predictions are, I really did not like how the Bloodline, regained the Tag Team Championships so quickly, especially after they were pushing DIY. I want to see more of a tag team division inside WWE, and just having Tama Tonga and Tongaloa win the championships right off the bat. It went from like, all right, cool. On SmackDown, we're going to get to see the tag team division kind of blow up a little bit. You know what I mean? Because, Jimmy and Jay don't have the titles. They don't have a stronghold over the titles. Only to give it to the Bloodline again. And also, I didn't think that was a good idea. I thought, should have took a little bit more time. But once again, WWE kind of giving that, and they do this with championships all the time. All the time. When you saw Ethan Page win the NXT World Heavyweight Championship against Trick Williams on Battleground, I think it was Battleground or Heatwave, you had to have a fatal 4-way match, just for it to make sense. Having something triple threat, fatal 4-way, 5 elimination, 6 tag, whatever. It's just the way for the company to kind of be like, all right, we don't want to show these guys as weak champions, because they don't have to get pinned. So 1,010%, I think this is the right move. This is heading into a pure Bloodline showdown, going to happen at Survivor Series. I want to see a tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa at Crown Jewel. It's speculations are anticipating that The Rock's going to come back, Hikuleo, Maybe oh my god, who is that other guy? I'm not too sure if this horror, of course I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything like that, and I'll keep it brief. This whole journey Fatu, reported missing and his family is super concerned. If that's the case, obviously, by all means, prayers, condolences to the family. WWE, especially during NXT when you had who was the guy? Brooks Jensen, where his wife was posting on social media saying that he hasn't come home. He's struggling with alcoholism. And then, like, a lot of people were kind of buying it. And even I was. I was like, holy crap, that's crazy. Like, this is real. This is some stuff beyond the ring. Only to find out it was just kind of like a ploy. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know if Journey is going to make his debut. I feel like if Journey makes his debut, Hikuleo was on the schedule. Zila Fatu as well. That was the guy I was thinking of. Zila Fatu also has a chance to make to prove dividends. That's like three new guys in the bloodline, three new people. So 1,010%, you're probably going to get somebody like you're going to see a debut. I want to see a debut. I want to see The Rock come out with another member of the bloodline. Sorry, excuse me. But I don't know. It's should be interesting. I doubt he's going to be on SmackDown. So yeah. Okay, moving on. Well, my prediction. I want to see the Street Profits win that match. I do. I feel like Dawkins, Ford. Ford is on a whole nother level. Like it's crazy. He belongs in the main event category. I'm sorry. He's in the tag team division. Like I get it. A lot of people are like, you should break up 8 Town Down Under to push Austin Theory, or hey, you should break up the New Day to push Xavier Woods. The person that probably should be pushed the most out of any tag team on WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, it's got to be Montez Ford, man. This guy, when he's in the ring, it's magic. I love him as a main card title holder. He could definitely. Oh my God, he's so talented. You can't take your eyes off him when he's inside the ring doing what he does best. That's just and honestly, think about the main card, the main eventers in WWE Smackdown. Cody Rhodes, yeah, I get it. Roman Reigns, I get it. Randy Orton, yes. Three guys. Three guys. LA Knight, no, Ford is better than LA Knight. What about Solo Sikoa? No, Ford is better than that. So in my opinion, it'd be kind of cool to kind of see Montez Ford kind of jump into the singles. If, push like another tag team, not a breakup. Once again, you don't really have to break up the tag team to kind of have one guy kind of stream off singles competition. But that's the WWE modus apparatus. The tag team partner gets jealous. The tag team partner stabs the other one in the back, be like, "Oh, you're better. You think you're better than our tag team. You don't gotta, you lower yourself, tagging me inside." Like it's not like that. And I feel like WWE should definitely give Montez Ford like a nice little push. I feel like that'd be awesome. Michin against Chelsea Green in a dumpster match. Not really much to get into, especially I don't think Michin's going to win. I think Chelsea Green picks up the victory here. I think this is one of the first ever women's dumpster match. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. Tiffany Stratton going up against Naomi. Tiffany Stratton, grabbed by the throat last week on SmackDown by Queen, the WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax, foreshadowing a cash-in, which is exactly what should happen. I feel like at Bad Blood, it could happen. Maybe, maybe not. I doubt they're going to do it at Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel, usually at PLEs, that's not something big like the Big Four, like where Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, or SummerSlam. If you're going to have a PLE like Crown Jewel, you know, it's always the favorites win. You know what I mean? There's a couple of times where they do have the shock value, but mostly it's highly predictable. You know who's going to win the championships, you know who's going to retain. And so I doubt they're gonna wait. Maybe Survivor Series. Tiffany Stratton cashing in at Bad Blood would be pretty badass. I would I think that'd be pretty cool. And lastly, on SmackDown, we have the leader of the OC, AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles returns to WWE SmackDown. It should be interesting to find out what's his next move. Coming back immediately, honestly, kind of puts him into the the main card in terms of fighting for the WWE Championship. He had his chance against Cody Rhodes. Will he maybe feud against? I don't think they're going to touch anybody from the Bloodline. I feel like AJ Styles is going to come back, maybe challenge the LA Knight. That's a huge possibility as well. I really don't see him going after the WWE Championship, especially after he had two tries against Cody Rhodes. But it should be pretty awesome. I can't wait to find out what they do with this character. It should be awesome. Should be awesome. All right, guys. So hey, do not go anywhere. We're gonna jump on into my Thursday night wrestling review. TNA Impact, Ring of Honor, Honor Club when we come back. So hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. Just going to reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our WWE Smackdown preview. Now we're going to talk about some Thursday night wrestling. We're going to talk about some of the reviews that happened on TNA Impact, also, Honor Club. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. If you got a burning question or a hot take about professional wrestling, or just something you've been dying to get off your chest, this show is all about keeping the conversation going. Obviously, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed, or why not use that super chat? Just hit the $sign below the chat box. It's guaranteed that whatever you have to say is going to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel, the GSMC Sports Network. Your super chats, obviously, they helps us, kind of keep the lights on to all these podcasts, all these awesome podcasters, bringing you guys amazing sports content that you guys love so much. We are absolutely super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So let's get the conversation going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together, we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat is not your thing, hit up the gsmcpodcast.net to tip and donate. And leave your comment, question, or concern. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. Of course, feedback is a gift. We appreciate every little bit of your support. Don't forget to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network. And together we can watch and talk about some awesome wrestling content on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. Every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's talk about some Thursday night wrestling. Just kind of, first and foremost, obviously, my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences to the families that have been affected by this crazy natural disaster. It's it sucks. You know what I mean? It's unprecedented. I'll keep it brief. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you kind of see all these things that happen on the news, all this, crazy stuff. And you think to yourself, you're like, that's never going to happen to me. It's never going to happen. I'm sorry. And then when it finally does, and then like in this shock, your heart is broken. You're seeing your loved ones affected. People are huge. It's crazy. This is a catastrophe. Hurricane Helen. Obviously it's kind of crazy, kind of crazy. But now we're gonna talk about some TNA Impact. Once again, Hurricane Helen. Basically kind of screwed over what TNA Wrestling was going to do. They had a special with Tom Hannafin, who basically relives the best Bound for Glory special edition, on TNA Impact. First, they talk about, the X Division champion Mike Bailey taking on Frankie Kazarian, Bound for Glory 2022. It was the first time, ever. It was the first time ever match at Bound for Glory in 2022, wherein Frankie Kazarian challenged Speedball Mike Bailey for the X Division championship. In the end, it was Kazarian who captured the X Division title for the fifth time by submitting Bailey with crossface chicken wing. Nowadays, you don't really see the success that Frankie Kazarian really had back in the day. Just a mere 2 years later, you had Speedball Mike Bailey win the championship, lose it to Zachary Wentz, then win it back. So, I like Speedball Mike Bailey. I think this was slightly maybe around the same time as the formation of Speedball Mountain. But Frankie Kazarian, I like this kid. I think I still feel like he has a lot left in the tank, and it should be pretty interesting to kind of get his. All right, next we have the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, Bound for Glory 2021. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet match has been a staple for Bound for Glory over the last several years. You never know who might show up, and for good reason. The winner of the match earns a championship opportunity of their choosing anytime, any place for up to 1 year. In 2021, the Gauntlet match was won by Moose, who called his shot later in the night and to become the new Impact Wrestling World Championship, which is, exactly what, and it started this kind of, it started the system, obviously it brought a lot of, chaos. It brought a lot of, it brought the return of the Demon, also brought Matt Cardona. There's a lot of, people who debuted during this match. Bound for Glory is definitely one of TNA's most prominent pay-per-views. I think, next to Slammiversary, it's kind of like that signature PLE that TNA have. It's like a WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Yeah, it is kind of like a WrestleMania. It is. And, obviously, having big names like Moose kind of come into the picture, it was worth it. It was cool. Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace takes on Masha Slamovich, Bound for Glory 2022. The Knockouts World Championship was on the line at Bound for Glory 2022 as Jordan Grace defended against the undefeated Slamovich in perhaps one of the most physical Knockouts World title matches of all time. Grace and Slamovich took each other to the absolute limits. When the dust had settled, it was Grace who reigned supreme, following an innovative top rope Grace driver. The match was runner-up in Match of the Year voting for TNA. And both of these superstars are very, very successful, very, very, they deserve respect. Jordan Grace is definitely on my list of the top women's wrestlers in professional wrestling industry right now. I got to be honest. And watching Slamovich kind of get kicked out of that tag team with Tasha Steelz, also Alicia Edwards, I kind of feel like good riddance. Maybe TNA can try to find a way to get her singles career back on track where she could maybe have this match between Jordan Grace part 2. So I feel like that would be pretty badass. Next, we have Bound for Glory 2023, Moose versus PCO versus Rhino versus Steve Macklin, Monsters Ball. After being trapped with no food, no water, no light for 24 hours, Moose, PCO, Rhino, and Steve Macklin were unleashed in Monsters Ball at Bound for Glory 2023. No disqualifications, no countouts, and no shortage of weaponry. The only way to win is by pinfall or submission. After Bully Ray sent Macklin crashing through the table, wrapped in barbed wire, it was PCO who capitalized off the chaos to win. Monsters Ball will return at this year's Bound for Glory as PCO defends both the Digital Media Championship and the International Heavyweight Championships against Matt Cardona, which is presented by the Eye of the Salamander in theaters November 1st. I think it's kind of cool how they kind of added that little PL, little promotion there. All right, we have Impact World Champion Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards, Bound for Glory 2022. At an epic main event, Bound for Glory 2022, Josh Alexander looked to continue his record-setting reign as Impact World Champion when he defended the title against the leader of Honor No More, Eddie Edwards. It was a crash between the two of the most accomplished individuals in the promotion's history, but only one could leave the biggest event of the year with the Impact World Championships. Following a breathtaking encounter, Josh Alexander solidified himself as, at the time, the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling with the C4 spike for the win. And just kind of, reading something like this, it's just kind of sucks that Josh Alexander has kind of fell wayside. He's fell wayside to becoming the face of TNA. Obviously, having a lot of dedication, a lot of not sacrifice, a lot of commitment. No, that's not the right word. A lot of oh my god, damn it. What's the word I'm thinking of? A commitment. No, I just said that. Damn it. But anyways, Josh Alexander should deserve another run as the TNA World Champion. I'm sorry. They wanted to do it at Slammiversary this year, but during the match, mid-call, they decided Nick Nemeth was the right decision. I possibly think it could have went either way. Like, Joe Hendry, Josh Alexander, Nick Nemeth. It doesn't matter who would win. TNA would have been put on the map. And I think 1,010%, I want to see Josh Alexander bounce back. I don't want to see him leave TNA anytime soon. But I don't know. It's just it's kind of crazy. On Saturday, October 26th, TNA Wrestling Showcase pay-per-view event of the year, Bound for Glory, comes to the Wayne State University Fieldhouse in Detroit, Michigan, where Joe Hendry will challenge Nick Nemeth for the TNA World Championship. Obviously, tickets are on sale now at etickets.com, or just, come to order, TNA Plus. Should be pretty interesting. So, kind of, once again, giving thoughts and prayers to everybody affected by the hurricane. And I just, hope that you guys are safe. If you're listening from that area, just like I said, be safe. I have a family. I have a wife and kids. Obviously, something like this, where it's a natural disaster, where it's like nobody's really fault except for you want to jump into the whole global warming thing. But we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to get into this. It's a wrestling podcast. Nothing about politics or global issues. I just, kind of crazy, but yeah. All right, moving on. Ring of Honor. Right now, my notes aren't popping up. Gotta love when technology helps you every day, but it could fail you drastically. Like really, really. Okay, here we are. Oh, I was gonna say, damn. So first and foremost, we saw the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Championships in a proving ground match. The Sons of Texas, Dusty Rhodes, Marshawn Von Erich, and Ross Von Erich defeated the premier athletes Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, and Mark Sterling via pinfall. The final reckoning from Rhodes was, performed on Mark Sterling for the victory. Nyla Rose defeated Katie Arquette with the Beast Bomb. MIT, the team of, Athena, Billy Starks, Lexi Nair, where Athena asked what was Starks' problem. Starks said she was tired of Athena leaving her hanging while she was always, kind of stepped on. And this is exactly what we thought was going to happen. After Abaddon, made her attack on Starks, obviously Athena bailed. She bailed. Athena told Starks, to step aside because she had a problem. And she, during the title celebration, and it just, Starks left. And it's, not much of a surprise here that this is probably going to be the next, kind of feud going on. And a lot of people love this. A lot of just thinking about what's happened in world wrestling history, with Shawn Michaels and Diesel, where you had Diesel turn his back, Triple H and Dave Batista. A lot of people love these underdogs that are treated like crap, kind of like what you're seeing on SmackDown with Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. This could possibly push Tiffany Stratton to become a babyface, but that's that's still a pretty big push here. But overall, I would love to see Billy Starks dethrone Athena. And right now, at this point in time, I kind of feel like it's poetic justice. I feel like it'd be, kind of great for her to win a championship. Kind of have a new breed. We all know Billy Starks can do it. She was a long reigning not AEW, Ring of Honor television champion. So there's no doubt in my mind she can come out and bring it every night, put the butts in the seats, ensure revenue for Ring of Honor, TNA, not TNA, All Elite Wrestling, basically Tony Khan. So I think that's a great way to kind of get into that. Anthony Henry, I believe in Joe Henry. I'm just kidding. Well, no, I do. I believe in Joe Henry. Anthony Henry and Beef defeated Anthony Katena and Wes Barkley via pinfall. The Outrunners defeated the Infantry, which is kind of sad because I was banking on the Infantry kind of bouncing back. The Ian Rakobani and Caprice Coleman cut. You saw Kenta Kobashi defeat Samoa Joe with Jay Lethal via pinfall, burning lariat. And we had a Ring of Honor World Championship match. Mark Briscoe once again proves why he's the man of Ring of Honor, defeating Matt Taven with Mike Bennett via the Jay Drilla. Them boys, baby, them boys. He was able to retain that championship, which is badass. I fell in love with Mark Briscoe. I feel like he's one of the best wrestlers right now out there. And overall, he deserves it. He deserves it 1,010%. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our next segment. We're going to talk about some WWE Bad Blood predictions. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice-cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network to talk about the thing we love the most, professional wrestling. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick, we had our WWE Smackdown talk. We talked a little bit about the preview. We talked about my Thursday night wrestling review. We stepped into the ring, our Ring of Honor. We also talked about TNA Impact, which show was the tapings were canceled due to everything that was happening with the hurricane. So thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to everybody who's affected. Of course, I think they do have a disaster relief kind of donation thing. Obviously, if you have some extra, it's always good to donate. It's always good to, like I kind of mentioned in the previous segment, it's sometimes these things could be unprecedented. It's not really anybody's fault. But of course, if you want to get into the whole, global warming thing, once again, it's a wrestling podcast, not here to talk about, political stuff or global issues. Not that I'm saying it's not an issue, but I'm, gotta stick with wrestling. But overall, it just sucks. Sometimes when you turn on the nightly news, see all the BS that's happening all over the world, you kind of think to yourself, you're like, you know what? That's never going to happen to me. I'm good. No reason to, squirrel away money no reason to, buy water, toilet paper, canned goods, stuff that's basically going to kind of help you during during some kind of like everybody during COVID. I remember everybody's rushing to the stores, buying a crap ton of toilet paper and waters and milk and meats and stuff. It's times like these you don't really know exactly how to kind of react. The best thing you could do is just protect your loved ones. Obviously, go out there. We need to come together as a society, and I don't know. It's going to be a lot better. It's going to hopefully things turn around. Once again, thoughts and prayers to everybody affected by the hurricane. We have a chat by my man Logan James. I hated Shawn Michaels for letting Julia not win. Um, you know, I actually I disagree. I do love the fact that Julia with the WWE NXT being on the CW and of course being more like an international star, you know, I get why Roxanne Perez retained. She just has that she kind of had that it girl factor to her. Like you know what I mean? Like you turn on the TV, she's cutting a good promo, she gets in somebody's face. I love Julia. I love that NXT signed her, but at the same time, Roxanne Perez is just Roxanne Perez. You turn on NXT once again, people tune into her matches. I think she's a great wrestler, despite kind of her height and stuff like that. Obviously, not really such a big deal, but Julia had all the skills in the world to do it. Obviously, I knew Cora Jade or somebody had to interfere for her to get this win. And now you're going to have this reunion between the NXT World Women's Champion Perez and Cora Jade. It should be interesting. Maybe Cora Jade, maybe she wants to, try to, take Roxanne Perez's title. Like, who knows? Stephanie McCure also said on the NXT before the first episode on the CW, she said, whatever happens, I'm waiting for you on the other line. And, I would love to see Vicure. But then once again, I'm up in the air. I'm like, you know what? I'm not too sure to find out if Roxanne Perez, she's just, the thing I love about Roxanne is that she's so homegrown. She's homegrown by WWE. She's been within the circuit. She's been trained by multiple WWE superstars. And, if you're going to have the face of NXT, this whole new generation of CW content coming at you, I feel like she's better. She's better on the mic. She's better cutting backstage promos. She has that nonchalant. She kind of has that resting B face. She kind of could, she could piss people off. The ultimate heel. The ultimate heel. Your men's champion is a babyface. Your tag team champions are babyface. The NXT Women's North American Championship is a babyface. The men's, Boba Femi, I don't really think he's a heel. I don't know if he's a babyface. But you kind of have to have that balance, especially if you're, if you're a wrestling promotion. So, next we have some WWE Bad Blood predictions. So let's go and talk about it right quick. Obviously, the event can be streamed on Peacock. As of right now, WWE has not announced yet a pre-show. We're live at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. I think that's where the Hawks play. Don't quote me on that. Should be pretty awesome. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good pay-per-view here. But first and foremost, let's talk about the matches. Let's talk about the quantity of matches. Just the quantity of matches going on. 5 matches, taking 3 to 4 hours. A lot of promos, a lot of advertisement opportunities for WWE. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of WWE having only 5 matches per PLE. But of course, I've been a homegrown WWE fan. And, I like seeing 8, 9, 10 matches. You see all the titles up for grabs. Easily, you could have put Gunther against Sami Zayn. Easily, you could have found somebody to, have like a knockoff match for Jey Uso to build up momentum and confidence. You could have found this ladder match between DIY, the Street Profits, and Tama Tonga Tagaloa happening on SmackDown. It could have happened here, and that's, 7 matchups? Maybe you had Bronson Reed challenging Seth Rollins for, messing up his, chance. That's like, hey, like, you know what I mean? There could have been so much, but then again, you're trying to protect your superstars, and I get it. At the end of 2000, well, in the beginning of 2025, WWE is limiting the live events, which is great. It's good, you know, you're going to minimalize a lot of injuries. You're going to give a lot of wrestlers time, with their families, which is great. It's something that probably should have happened a long time ago. Vince McMahon, obviously, giant slave driver, probably forced a lot of these wrestlers to, travel, wrestle, wrestle, hurt, and you don't want to complain and get missed out of a match because at the same time, once when you kind of take a break from the spotlight, you could possibly never be brought up again. Inside the production meetings of the WWE content creators or their storyline writers. So, it's a lot of stuff that comes into fruition or in terms of consideration of having a lot of matches at a PLE. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into it. We got a Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Surprisingly, I if you announced this match maybe like 3 months ago, I would have been excited. But this back and forth, wash, rinse, and repeat, CM Punk cuts a promo, Drew McIntyre sends it to the hospital. Drew McIntyre cutting a promo, CM Punk throws him through a table. There was a lot of back and forth for like solid couple of months. You know what I mean? Like, and then this whole bracelet thing with this dog and his wife. Look, man, I get it. I get it 1,010%. But you shouldn't take things seriously on a bracelet if it doesn't like have like, maybe your kids make it. Or maybe and I'm not trying to sound mean. I'm not trying to be like all you dog lovers out there, or we have fur babies. I push my dog in a stroller. I'm not trying to crap on that. I'm just kidding. I know, but overall, I bringing this as the main, as like a side piece of a reason why CM Punk hates Drew McIntyre. Yes, I love it. But being the main reason why, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's because I'm a huge wrestling fan to the point where I've never really seen this. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of stupid freaking storylines within WWE. And these two guys, it's my respect for both of these superstars that kind of piss me off. I'm like, dude, really? Really? But then again, I guess I'm not happy that it's not like Bobby Lashley and Lana and Rusev. Maybe Drew McIntyre, sways AJ Lee to cheat on CM Punk to kiss him. Thank God it's not like that because that kind of storyline was off, god off, terrible, terrible. So I want to see this match come to an end. Like I said, not because I have disrespect for any of these guys' in-ring talents or even promo cutting and stuff like that. I just want to see their next move. It's time. It's time to make the next move. Obviously, I feel like this, this whole feud between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre was kind of created on the fly, dealt with on a week-to-week basis, with WWE creative stepping into a conference room and be like, all right, guys, what are we going to do next? Because originally CM Punk was supposed to take on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, who's supposed to win the Royal Rumble, and then he got injured, and Drew McIntyre had plans, then he got injured. Both of them kind of roughly came back at the same time. They're like, you know what? Let's have CM Punk screw over Drew McIntyre 3 times for his championship shots, and it's going to be the best freaking thing ever. Which not really the case. Not really the case. They wasted the WWE Men's Money in the Bank briefcase. I thought that was stupid. You could have gave it to somebody Ilya Dragunov. You could have gave it to Carmelo Hayes. You could have gave it to Jey Uso before he won the Intercontinental Championship. Could have made that happen. But I don't know. I'm not into it anymore. I want to see the end of this. I'm excited for this match. I am. I want to see how it is finally put to bed. I think there should be a stipulation where the loser does leave Monday Night Raw. I feel like that would be for the best. Next, we have a WWE Women's Championship match. Nia Jax, the defending WWE Women's Champion, takes on Bayley. Not really much of a surprise here. Nia Jax is going to pick up the dub. Are they going to try to incorporate something with a Tiffany Stratton, maybe like a tease, briefcase cash in because of the way she's been treated by Nia Jax? Nia Jax straight up grabbing her by the throat, be like, you know what, Tiffy? If I lose this championship, this reflects on you. Like, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like foreshadowing. So, should be interesting. Women's World Championship match. Liv Morgan taking on Rhea Ripley. Dominic Mysterio will be suspended above the ring inside of a shark cage. This match as well, I know exactly what's going to happen. Like I said, I'm not trying to act like I'm like a genius or anything like that because it is professional wrestling. If I get it right, cool, awesome. But at the same time, I don't. The best thing about professional wrestling is its unpredictability. So, like, if something happens that I did not predict, I'm like, oh, yes. Yes. At the end of the day, I'm more satisfied. So, shock me, please. Make me a liar. Make me a loser. Make me wrong, WWE. Make me wrong. But Liv Morgan's going to pick up this victory, Rhea Ripley. A lot of speculations about Raquel Rodriguez re-entering into WWE. She says she feels great after her condition and stuff like that. It's like a medical, she took medical leave. It's, I don't want to say it's a disease because I don't want to be caught, kind of with my head up my arse. So, she was taking time away from WWE to deal with some medical stuff, some health issues. And, she said in an interview, I think it was Fightful, via Fightful or Cage Ringside News or Cage Side Seats, I think it was, basically saying that she's feeling good, the best she's possibly ever felt in her career. Last time we saw her was WWE Elimination Chamber when she was in the women's match. She could, they used to be tag team champions, her and Liv Morgan. So this could possibly be a way for her to kind of come back into the fray, joining the Judgment Day. And I don't know, just kind of, making things interesting for the Judgment Day. Because at this time, it's dead. Oh my God, it's dead. It's not really drawing any real attention to the fact that I tune in every week and I'm like, all right, how is Liv Morgan going to lose the championship this year or this month? Or I'm like, how are JD McDonough and Finn Balor going to lose? The only thing that I'm kind of baking on for the Judgment Day to be successful again is if we have a successful run by Finn Balor, and at the end of the day, you have Finn Balor absolutely just ditch the Judgment Day. He's like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I'm better than all y'all. Dominic, I'm sorry, but I'm not in with it. JD McDonough, they have a lot of history, but at the same time, Finn Balor has to think about him. And Finn Balor is definitely one of the best wrestlers on WWE. His Universal Championship reign got cut short due to a shoulder injury with the match of Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, forcing him to relinquish his, the first ever, the inaugural WWE Universal Champion. So I want to see him bounce back. I do. Damian Priest speaking of Finn Balor, I want to see Finn Balor win. You need to start building that momentum up. Finn Balor was a Triple H Paul Levesque guy. That was his dude. And then when Vince McMahon stepped in again, he was like, all right, let's do this. And Vince McMahon, reputational wise, he loved his these big guys, these big superstars, kind of like Brock Lesnar, you know what I mean? And, but at the same time, Finn Balor, kind of a smaller superstar. If Vince McMahon wasn't really the one to kind of bring up his name into production meetings, it's kind of like, well, then all is a lost cause. All is a lost cause because Vince McMahon is going to pick his guys. Austin Theory was the last Vince McMahon guy. Obviously, right now, his career is not really doing too well. Finn Balor needs to bounce back. He needs to win this match. Last match, we have the tag team match between Cody Rhodes, the WWE champion, and the OTC, Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. The Bloodline needs a different angle. With this whole Cody Roman Reigns things, I feel like this is probably going to be the last time you're going to see Cody Rhodes within cadence of the Bloodline. I think after this, he sort of takes a break, probably until WrestleMania season, because you have stuff happening with what's going to happen between him, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and then Roman Reigns. Right now, he even said it himself in a promo that this has nothing to do with Cody Rhodes. I'm going to deal with whatever I have to deal with, and then guess what? I am coming back for what's mine. And Roman Reigns, The Rock has been confirmed. The Rock has been confirmed to show up at WWE Bad Blood. So, don't be too surprised if we see kind of like a sneak peek of what exactly is going to happen at WWE SummerSlam. Once again, Hikuleo still waiting in the wings. Azila Fatu, Journey as well. Although, like I said, I don't want to sound like a jerk and be like he's actually missing, which if it's true, obviously thoughts and prayers, condolences go to his family. But WWE, in terms of keeping kayfabe, has kind of stepped it up a little bit. You had on WWE NXT Brooks Jensen, you had his girlfriend going viral on social media, on TikToks, Instagram, Facebook, saying that, have you guys crying her eyes out. She's like, have you guys seen my husband? This and that. He's dealing with alcoholism. He doesn't believe in himself. I wanted to find out that was a way, because at the same time, they fooled me too. I was like, damn, dude, that's crazy. Like WWE actually showing some real crap here, showing some real stuff. And even Shawn Michaels said, you know what? I believe in second chances. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, believes in second chances. So we're going to talk to Ava. And at that point, I was like, dude, that's crazy. But at the same time, it could be kind of crazy. Could be kind of, so this whole Journey Fatu, maybe he makes his debut at Bad Blood. Once again, if this, if he's actually missing, I kind of feel like a jerk mentioning this. So let's keep it between us, guys. Keep it between us. All right, so we talked about some Bad Blood predictions. Obviously, went a little longer than expected. We have some, is Shane McMahon going to be All Elite? A lot of people are thinking so. We're going to talk about the subject matter when we return. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, guys, welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, from, all the action inside and out, all the backstage curtain drama. We also talk about promotions from AEW to WWE, TNA to Ring of Honor, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, the game-changing wrestling promotion. If it makes major news inside the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show. So we're going to get into some, is Shane McMahon going to be All Elite? After I read a couple of, God, I hate it when it does that. Okay, there we go. Now my chat's working. Okay. I got a couple of chats from Prob, Joutson H7. Hi, bro. How you doing? Hope you're doing well, my guy. Hope you guys are, hope you're preparing for an amazing weekend. Obviously, stay safe, stay awesome. I haven't watched WWE for the last 2 months. Can you tell me what big thing have happened in the last 2 months? Probably on SmackDown, I could probably say that, obviously the whole Cody Rhodes thing and the Bloodline is kind of fiddling out. And 2 months ago, 2 months ago, time's flying by. So July, like before SummerSlam, Roman Reigns, returned on SummerSlam. Now he's ultimately making a push for possibly being the best babyface of the century, which I think he has a WWE Championship run coming at him. He's going to join the Royal Rumble, hopefully to get his career back on track. So that's kind of what's been happening on SmackDown right now. Nia Jax is the WWE Women's World Championship, which I approve of. I hope that WWE, they don't cut her championship reign short. On WWE Raw 2 months ago, you saw the Judgment Day being on fire. You had Rhea Ripley, you had Damian Priest, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Not the case anymore. Sucks. Judgment Day's dead, essentially. Liv Morgan is holding on to that Women's World Championship by a thread. I don't like her holding the championship. I think it's stupid. Once again, It's not that I hate Liv Morgan, not a huge Liv Morgan kind of guy though, but I think in terms of being a WWE fan, I think she's a better chaser than a champion. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, you can root for someone as soon as they win the championship, you're like, after a couple months, you're like, oh, okay, this seems a little stale. And I feel like right now, Liv Morgan, like what's happening outside of the ring with the whole Dominic Mysterio thing, flirting with Rhea Ripley, stealing your man. Like, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? In terms of that, she's been doing decent. She's been doing good. Right now, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship is kind of on a flux. You kind of have Gunther. My speculation of Gunther is I accused of Damian Priest to kind of be a transitional champion. And Gunther, he's a great superstar. A lot of accolades through his short tenure in WWE, the longest reigning WWE Intercontinental Champion at 666 days. Um, this world title run that he's having isn't necessarily going to be alone. It's not going to be alone. It's just a show to kind of flirt with the idea that Gunther is going to be a world champion one day and he's going to hold that title longer. You had Seth Rollins injured, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. Then you started this, storyline between Damian Priest and, Gunther, and then Gunther won the title. So as of right now, I feel like WWE Raw, I feel like needs a lot of more changes than SmackDown, especially going toward that Netflix ideal. Also, Netflix has bought, Monday Night Raw is going to be on Raw. I'm pretty sure you know that. It's been, live for a couple of months now. So yeah, definitely, that's probably what's happened in WWE for the last bit. Well, I'm probably missing something. Obviously, if you in the chat have any thoughts of big things that's happened in WWE within the last 2 months, obviously, let me know. Let me know. We got a chat from Jin Ping saying hello. Hello, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Logan James, my guy, my number one guy. Favoritism apparently continue. Tell again, WWE doesn't hate. Tell me again, WWE doesn't hate Japanese stars because Candice LeRae beat Io Sky for the speech. Wow. Wow. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And I got to be honest, I'm a little upset. I try to keep tabs on WWE speed, but at the same time, and I'll keep it brief. Kind of having stars wrestle for like for 3 minutes, it's not really ideal. Having Candice LeRae win is just a huge mistake. Huge mistake because Io Sky, she's special. Io Sky is definitely one of the best wrestlers on Raw. You saw her tear it up in a match with Bianca Belair on Monday Night Raw about 2 weeks ago, and it stole the show. It stole the show 1,010%. And it's just it's stupid. It's dumb. That's the main reason. That's exactly why Ricochet probably left the WWE. They're like, hey, Ricochet, hey, dude, we can't give you the Intercontinental Championship. We can't give you a United States Championship run, but you could win this exclusive belt called the Speed Championship, where you have to win matches under 3 minutes. And guess where it's going to be broadcasted? Not on Peacock. Not on the USA Network. No. Fox, we're done with Fox. What are you talking about Fox for? It's going to be on our X page. It's going to be X page. It's just, come on, man. I just, having something like that just proves the reason why I hate WWE speed. And, I know hate's such a strong word. And Eric, you're a wrestling fan. Why are you saying things? Dude, it's because, come on, they should have kept 205 Live. They should have kept 205 Live with all the wrestlers, all the talent that they had. Mustafa Ali, Cedric Alexander, you had Neville, you had TJ Perkins, you had, Brian Kendrick. You had a lot of just talented guys. You could have saw, Dragon Lee make a killing on 205 Live, but then they got rid of it, which was stupid, terrible. And you could have had a women's also version of 205 Live, but, oh God. That's crazy. I had no idea that happened. I know, I kind of feel bad because I'm like, I should probably be knowing everything that's happening with WWE, but that was a huge shock factor. That's crazy. Thank you, Logan James, for, telling me that. That's crazy, and I don't agree with it. Kind of sucks. All right, so briefly, let's talk about, Shane McMahon, because we are rapidly running out of time. We got my boy Emran's GSMC Soccer Podcast started in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, so make sure you catch that. So Shane McMahon has been around the wrestling, kind of around the wrestling world of being in cahoots with Tony Khan and AEW. They've been seen. Mercedes Moné has been seen with Shane McMahon at airports, also the Young Bucks. Also, you've seen the picture of him. Tony Khan taken by Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné, even in an interview, says that, everybody loves Shane McMahon. Everybody would love to see him kind of cross over to AEW. A lot of fans obviously giving their 2 cents about it. Some are good for it. Some are opposed to it. A lot of people are like, a McMahon in wrestling needs to die. It's not it's not back in the day anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Even when Shane McMahon was on WWE, did he have necessarily, prolific ideas in terms of storylines and characters, stuff like that? No. Like, he didn't really have that, that edge to him. The best thing about Shane McMahon possibly coming to AEW is maybe, he says he's not ready to retire yet from from wrestling. So this could possibly be a way for him to kind of get his in-ring, thing back and get back in mojo. A lot of people think that he's behind what's happening with the whole John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, also Shafir. And I could, Shane McMahon showing up, it would be a bombshell. Would be a bombshell. A lot of people could have kind of Vietnam flashbacks because what you saw with the whole WCW takeover, the whole invasion thing, and how McMahon dropped the ball in terms of handling new talent being acquired by WWE. And by all means, that was Vince. I understand that was Vince at the, Shane McMahon was kind of like an innocent bystander. And, I agree with that. I like Shane. I do. I think he's a great, he brings a great mind, a great business sense. If anybody could understand how a wrestling promotion goes under, how it dies, how it falls, how it becomes the laughingstock of world wrestling media, it's got to be Shane McMahon. He's seen the bad, he's seen the ugly, and I mean ugly, and he's seen what's worked. He's seen what's worked. Right now in AEW, everything that's kind of happening, all the storylines in AEW, I see, and as a wrestling fan, I'm not hating it. I see wrestling. I see wrestling. A lot of what the foundation of what AEW and Tony Khan has to offer is exactly what WWE was the opposite circa of 2019, 2020, before the pandemic, was because you'd go out there and you wouldn't see people just lollygag on the television, cutting pointless promos, having these silly conflicts and storylines and bookings and, feuds and babyface turns and heels. Mostly in Tony Khan's promotions, you have wrestling. The wrestlers go into the ring and the wrestling speaks for itself. Inside that is a whole entire promo. But with Shane McMahon joining AEW, I feel like it could, kind of carry on much like that. I know at the same time, Tony Khan, I feel like teaming up with Shane McMahon, business-wise, having Vince McMahon be a reason why WWE went international, but AEW has kind of went international all by themselves. The Elite right now, not really a faction anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Doesn't really seem like they come out very often. Not your typical faction. Kazuchika Okada holding the AEW Continental Championship. He should be on his own, killing stuff, killing it every match. The best person that I feel like the Elite tried to get on their stable, which he is, but Jack Perry is a very special superstar. I've had a lot of baggage about him, but you could be the most hated man in the world, but if you go out there and do your job, you do it well, you're special. You're special. Like, you go out there, you don't necessarily really, it's not about making friends. If you make a little enemies along the way, like, yeah, it's cool. But at the same time, it's all about, kind of going out there, getting you as a brand in entertainment, but most importantly, in terms of professional wrestling, you're your own brand. You have to represent yourself. You have to go out there and do what's best for you. Because what happens when nobody does what's best for you and you get tanked over? You know what I mean? Then you lose out on money, financial stability. You lose out on your career. You go back to wrestling in front of 50 people again. Jack Perry doesn't want to be about that. You know what I mean? My boy, Jungle Boy. But Shane McMahon coming to AEW, I feel like he'd be great. He has a good business sense. you know, he has a lot of stars that he's dealt with in terms of WWE, like Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan from WWE. There's just, John Moxley. It's wrestling has become kind of this mainstream. Well, it's always been mainstream, but like behind the scenes. I don't know if that makes sense. Behind the locker room scenes where a lot of wrestlers are kind of like, oh, never ever open the forbidden door. No, 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 no. Don't even think about going to WWE. Don't, and even the wrestling promoters, don't even think about stealing somebody from WWE or vice versa. WWE taking AEW stars, maybe like Daniel Garcia. I do feel like they're gonna, work out a deal, but ultimately, it just seems kind of crazy, But if anybody, like I said, like I kind of talked about in the beginning, is that if anybody has a good business sense of where a wrestling promotion could die or it could be successful, it's got to be Shane McMahon, So I'm not. It's not that I hate it. I don't love this idea just yet, but at the same time, it could work out. Especially with AEW coming to terms with HBO Max, possibly being on Fox. All this could be very, very, very vague, very scary, very overwhelming for the president of All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan. He's like, you know what? I need a partner. I need somebody who's going to look out for the betterment of the company, someone who knows what they were doing. Obviously, back in the day, you saw WWE sign contracts, from Sci-Fi to, of course, the USA Network to Fox. And, it just makes sense signing a guy with some experience. You know what I mean? So it's a possibility. It's a possibility, and I think it's going to be great. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about our wrestling news roundup. Going to give you guys some awesome wrestling headlines going around the world of professional wrestling. I have about 17 minutes to wrap this up. So, I will see you pretty soon. All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick. We had our, WWE Smackdown preview. We talked about some, my Thursday night wrestling review with, TNA, Ring of Honor. We talked about that. We also talked about WWE Bad Blood predictions. Make sure you check that out. Obviously, leave any comments inside the section so we can have a nice little ongoing conversation about it. Also, we talked about Shane McMahon possibly being all elite. It could happen. It's still up in the air right now. But from a business sense, it makes sense. It makes pivotal sense. And I got a new chat right here. One question from my boy Logan James. Tam Nakana, mother is Bull Nakana. I think she might be. Don't quote me on that. She was such a great wrestler. Oh my God, that's the reason why she was in the Hall of Fame. I think that once again mentioning Japanese stars like Asuka and Io Sky. Oh my God, like I still can't get over Candice LeRae beating Io Sky for the champ. That's crazy. Oh my God, damn. But I like obviously keep the questions coming. Tam Nakano, the mother of Bull Nakano. The mother? No, I think Bull Nakano, wasn't she the I gotta definitely fact check that 1,010%. So stay with me on that. But obviously, before we run out of time, I got 14 more minutes. So let's go. Let's see if we can wrap this up right quick. Let me open up my notes. All right, here we go. So AJ Lee chimes in after the fans basically call her out, wanting a WWE return to help CM Punk at Bad Blood. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. On via social media, you saw CM Punk and AJ Lee, training, and then CM Punk dropped the teaser saying that maybe he's going to train his wife to come back to the ring once again. A lot of AJ Lee fans went crazy on social media. Also, a lot of CM Punk fans. Also, there was a lot of people on the other side of that too. They're like, you know what? All right. Once again, WWE trying to promote nostalgia instead of young superstars, which is exactly why you saw the downfall of WCW. But I feel like in this case, it'd be different. It would be it'd be different. You would see AJ Lee come back. You would see her automatically as a main title contender. Not a lot of superstars can kind of come back. You have, Asuka waiting in the wings. You have Charlotte Flair. You see, Becky Lynch. We're not too sure what her status is. Somebody like AJ Lee, I was kind of flirting with the idea that she would wind up on NXT with her husband, CM Punk, them kind of, creating, not like a stable, but kind of being a brand within themselves and stuff like that. And I feel like that'd be pretty awesome. I can definitely see AJ Lee coming back to the WWE. All right, so next, of course, AEW is finally, kind of making it noticed that they are signed by HBO Max, which is great. I've been wanting this deal to kind of happen for the longest time because the main reason why a lot of people probably kind of shy away from watching AEW PLEs is that, you still have to pay. And of course, you still have to pay in terms of WWE, but you pay monthly, and this could definitely open up a lot of possibilities for a lot of people think AEW is going to replace Rampage for Shockwave. I don't for Shockwave. I think that's what it is. I don't think that's the case. I think that with this deal with HBO Max, you're gonna have some PLEs, and I feel like every 2 weeks, kind of like WWE Saturday night's main event, you're gonna have Saturday Night Shockwave, which is gonna be exclusively on HBO Max, kind of being a PLE that is not a PLE, which will ultimately kind of have Dynamite and Collision to kind of be like, you know what, like this might. This might limit the match card, but this is going to also cause a lot of superstars to kind of be a part of these big things. And that's, it's going to cause them to want to negotiate their contracts, have the extensions, also sign new deals, long-term deals in terms of All Elite Wrestling. But I don't know, this whole Saturday Night Shockwave, I know you have Collision. I feel like Collision belongs on another day before Saturday, and I don't know if that makes sense. Kind of going head to head with the UFC, fight night. Saturdays you have college football. It's not a good booking. I want to see it moved. But then again, I'm thinking about it. You're like, how are you going to go against your competition? Monday Night Raw taken. Mondays are taken. Tuesdays NXT taken. Maybe you can have Collision happen on Tuesdays. Dynamite goes to no, but moves to Thursdays, maybe, possibly. But then again, Ring of Honor is not. So I don't really know exactly how AEW can kind of work these little kinks out. But I don't know. Overall, you want to see Rampage gone. I don't like the idea of Rampage. I get it. You have all these superstars waiting to get time inside the ring to showcase their talents. And that's important. That is so important because you're raising a lot of young talent to possibly become future stars. So ditching Rampage altogether, probably, not the best thing, but I don't know, should be pretty crazy. And like I said, like I mentioned before in the podcast, Daniel Garcia absent backstage during AEW events amid WWE rumors. You have the Lucha Brothers that are right there with WWE, have not yet quite locked down the deal. So a lot of things are up in the air right now, especially with this possible, even in an interview, Swerve Strickland said that, they have Fox. What does that mean? Is it true? Is whatever source he's using credible? But Daniel Garcia right now, he's a star. I would love to see him come back to AEW, but coming to WWE, automatically I can see him as an Intercontinental Champion. I can he kind of reminds me of a young Randy Orton. I don't know if that makes sense. Just like the way he kind of holds himself up, the way he just once when he's disrespected, he can come back and disrespect you right back. Definitely gotta love that. I think it's definitely think it's kind of cool. Bryan Danielson's future with the final countdown in AEW is unveiled. Um, Much like what I was talking about, his last run in wrestling, it's going to be prestigious, and it's nothing really anybody inside the wrestling media had any kind of doubts about, I guess you can say. But overall, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of the future of your family. He's going to go against some of the best that AEW has to offer. He's going to come out on top. He's going to relinquish championships. He's going to leave AEW never losing the championship. And it's going to be sweet. It's going to be sweet. And it's going to be good for Bryan Danielson's legacy, or Bryan Daniels' legacy altogether. It doesn't matter. WWE, Ring of Honor, also, the independent wrestling circuits, and also AEW. It doesn't really matter. But I don't know. Should be pretty awesome. Gunther credits Triple H for WWE success, saying that he's always had my back. And he really has. Gunther's career ultimately skyrocketed when Triple H took over as CEO of WWE, CCO before Vince McMahon officially left, thank God. Gunther is an amazing superstar. Is it kind of pushing it? He could be that young guy who just continues to just win and win and win and championship reigns after championship reigns. But you literally just saw this dude hold the Intercontinental Championships for 666 days. And if you're a wrestling fan, it's not like we hate him or I'm getting bored of this. He's a crappy wrestler. It's not like that. He's an amazing wrestler. He puts on great matches, great promos. It's not like we don't want to see Gunther hold championships. But it's like Roman Reigns losing at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes, and then like 3 months later, then he wins the Intercontinental Championship. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you know what? At the end of the day, somebody else has got to have a turn. Someone's got to have a turn, man. Especially with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, when that's the most prestigious belt on your promotion. Somebody else has definitely have to have a turn right now. They're flirting with the idea. I don't know if it's, I think it's like 75% true that Braun Breaker is going to challenge Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Crown Jewel. Should be interesting. Should be a good match. Overall, I feel like that would be a great booking. I would love to see Braun Breaker, kind of step out. Obviously, he lost his title to Jey Uso, but I don't know. Right now on Raw, the main champion is just up in the air. I don't really know how to feel about it. And lastly, we have The Rock confirms presence in Atlanta, Georgia, ahead of WWE Bad Blood. What you're going to see tomorrow is going to be a huge build-up to exactly what WWE is trying to go for with their War Games match. A lot of people think Sami Zayn's going to team up with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and you have that one last guy that could, that they're going to choose to kind of be on their side. And then right now you kind of have everybody on the bloodline: Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga Tangaloa, also Jacob Fatu. So there's a room for two more people. There's room for two people. I feel like The Rock has been maybe pulling the strings behind everything that's happening with Solo Sikoa, but at the same time, I don't, because this storyline can go either way, and I think both of it makes sense. He can either come out full blast and screw Roman over and just attack him at a match at Crown Jewel, or you see him, fake his way into a match at the War Games, and then once when it's his turn to come in, the final boss, you're gonna have Sami Zayn, you're gonna have Jimmy, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns being beaten, battered inside the War Game zone, and they're gonna look at the cage, they're gonna be like, "Oh, The Rock, our savior! Oh my God, thank you so much!" And he's gonna turn around and stab them in the back, and that's when you're gonna see a 6-on-4 brutal assault. And then you're going to have this new bloodline. You're going to see Jimmy and Jay going back and Sammy going back to Monday Night Raw once again, leaving Roman Reigns all by himself. forcing him to kind of be like, you know what, maybe I'm never going to kind of be the original tribal chief. And that's something you see in movies all the time. Look at what's happened with Marvel and Disney movies. You kind of have the hero, kind of looking at this situation that seems absolutely, utterly impossible. And then you kind of he finds a way. He fights and he fights and he finds a way to kind of win the championship. Well, obviously not the championship. He fights for the little, the chili necklace and stuff like that, being the tribal chief. And he's going to have to start his own bloodline from the ground up, from burnt ashes, from ashes, comes opportunity, So I definitely think that could be a possible way that The Rock finds his way into the storyline at WWE Survivor Series War Games. Generals gathered in their masses, which is an awesome song. I love that Ozzy Osbourne. Well, not Ozzy Osbourne. Well, it is Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath. War Pigs. I think it's awesome. All right, guys. Once again, that's enough for me for the day. It is 9:27. Once again, I got my boy Emran with his soccer podcast starting in 3 minutes. So make sure you stay tuned for that, especially if you're trying to become a soccer fan, or if you're already a soccer fan and you're like, holy crap, I did not know there was a podcast happening at 9:30 at night on an amazing, prestigious network like the GSMC Sports Network, who pride themselves on caring about you, the fans, your guys' opinions, your hot takes. Thank you guys so much for participating inside that chat. Thank you so much once again for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time, but we get it. Criticism is all part of the game of sports. Feedback is a gift. Once again, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have a lot of podcasts. We have tomorrow, Saturday, college football. Tune into, Tommy's GSMC College Football Podcast. We got the NFL on Sunday. Tune into the GSMC Football Podcast with Kenneth. Tune into the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny to find out all the hot tea in terms of the National Football League. And in terms of National Football League comes what everybody looks forward to. That is not really football, fantasy. We all love fantasy. Find out your stardoms, your sit-ups, who to pick up off the waiver wire, who to drop, who to pick up, who to start. We, Chris Shepard, my boy, hosts the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast. Find out how to make your team a WWE champion. We got Nelson with the GSMC Basketball Podcast. Basketball starts pretty. I think it's the 22nd. I think it's the 22nd. Or the 24th, not too sure. We also have the WNBA playoffs heating up. He also covers that as well, so don't miss that. So, don't be afraid to, tune into all these badass podcasts. We have all around sports if you want to find out everything from baseball, basketball, the NHL, cricket, whatever. If it makes major news headlines inside the sports entertainment, we have TJ with GSMC Sports, and we got Sports by GSMC with Jeremy. So make sure you tune into all those podcasts. Super awesome, super sick. All these guys are amazing. Watch them, learn from them, and definitely, they're good to watch. Good to watch 1,010%. Once again, hope you guys are going to have an amazing, safe, lovely weekend with your family, your loved ones, or if you're that guy who sits on the couch and watches movies with their dogs and shares like an ice cream someday. Like I get it. Like, you know what I mean? CM Punk and Larry do that all the time. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Moving on. But, like I said, that's it for me today. First and foremost, stay beautiful. But of course, always love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great.